What's up, y'all? Welcome to the edition number 5 of the 64 Thunderbird revival. In the beginning of this one, the first place I got started is our brake light situation. We got the brakes now, so that's pretty awesome. But she didn't illuminate the taillights. So all I've done so far, I diagnosed that the issue is actually the old switch that I moved from the old master cylinder into this one. I was thinking I was about ready to move back into cleaning all the interior, but I'd like to put all my panels and pieces back in. I was underneath in the fuse panel over there, and on this side I had to take this whole panel under the dash and center console covering bit there to get to our ignition wiring and the brake light wiring. But I was thinking before I popped the panel back in, I couldn't help but notice that the radio don't do radio things. So I looked in back there, seen a fusible link for the radio, and I know this car had a short to ground issue a little while ago, so that may be what popped the fuse. I opened it up and sure enough it had a blown fuse. And I found a fuse in my shop, but it's the wrong size. It's too big, so we can't leave it in there because she ain't protected nothing. Oh, right. But anyway, accessory. Now we're cool. Fellers, look at the little piece of history I just found. That says next oil change at 5/12. I think that is a 4/5/12/94. Or mileage 75,174 miles. And she's at, I think that's 73,361. So I guess that would mean that this car was taken off the road before we made it to 5/12/94. So this is probably like 93-ish, about when I was born, somewhere around in that general vicinity. That's when they quit driving this car. All right. Well, fellers, it may be near time that she's earned her hubcaps back. It has. I didn't get a shot of it on account of I forgot to. She survived her first trip in 30 some odd years, and it took me and the old lady out to the restaurant and back. So that was pretty special. But anyhow, on account of it doing that, I thought it was about time to get in here and get after the interiors. And oh boy, was there a lot of cleaning to do in here. But if you can tell, it shines up rather nice. It's unbelievable to me how like preserved all the paint and the dash and all that metal paneling, especially back here. The metal paneling underneath the back window. Let me just fold a guy out of a feller's way, and we'll just get you on in there. No. Yeah, what I mean is this metal back here. It's incredible how good the paint still looks on it. The color hasn't faded any at all that I can tell. And then you see how clean and white my headliner is over here? It wasn't that way Yeah, there you go. You can see all the yellowy spots from it sitting up for 30 years. That makes the water accumulate. But I am super happy to report that my cleaner spray is getting the yellow spots off. Ew. This is what it would be like to be riding in the back seat. So yeah, here in a short little while, we're gonna have that headliner looking nice. This has been exciting, finally cleaning the inside of it after many hours of work underneath the front end of it and all the other corners of it, and a little bit at the back end of it, and some stuff underneath the entire underside. After all that, we finally get to shine up the inside, and this thing has the most impressive interior of any vehicle that I've ever been in. It just looks cool. And so far, most of our things work. Like I showed y'all before, the radio, I got the correct size fuse for that, so I can put my last panel back in down there. That'll be nice. Then after I put that panel back in, I think, as far as I know, the interior is complete in this thing. Yeah, look onto the carpet words. All right. That's really nice. This thing is cleaning up just a spiffy. And I gotta tell you, there is a satisfactory amount of chrome surrounding the feller when he's sitting back here. Yep. All right. Back in the shop here. After the full interior detail, that looks nice. Now we're moving on with pretty much our last mechanical step. We gotta hop in here. Right down there underneath my routing block is that brake light switch. We need to unplug the harness from it and unscrew that guy and very quickly plug this guy in and screw him back up. And then we're probably gonna have to bleed some air out of the brakes again. That's probably gonna introduce some air into the system. All right. Well, I got the new switchy feller down there, and I highly recommend you replace your brake light switch before you mount your master cylinder, because that was a mess. That was really hard. I had to take my bolts loose from the master cylinder, pull her out this way so I could get enough excesses to get down here with a pair of ratchety pliers. And yeah, the size socket that fits that is on a really huge wrench that there was no way of getting in there. Yeah, no room for a big socket or a wrench down there, so definitely change that guy out before you put your new master cylinder in. Way easier. Anyway, now we can bolt the master cylinder back up and bleeds the air out that we just put in. Great. All right, fellers. We got our brake light switch, master cylinder mounted back. I got my little beamy guy, whatever that is, little structure piece, put back in place finally, and trimmed the little stick that nut threads onto for the air cleaner. So yeah, let's make sure that the brake lights work. Well, that's good. You need those. People tend to appreciate when they can tell that you're applying the stoppage. So that's nice. Now that we got our brake lights, it's about time to roll it back out of the shop and put the hubcaps and whatnot back on it and get her all finished up. And update on the situation of this here vehicle. Wouldn't you like to be the owner of this 64 Ford Thunderbird? Yeah, that's pretty nifty. That's a little sad to me. I was hoping to see it around a little longer, but it is such an honor to get to be the guy that got this thing from sitting for 30 years straight and did all the massaging and the work to it to get her back on the road. And I get to be the reason that she's got the life brought back to her. So that's really neat. So yeah, if you're interested in this feller, make me an email address or something and I'll put that in the description. And yeah, I've got lots of years of experience working on cars. Never sold one before, so that could be cool. Anyway, let's get her outside. Just look at the interior on this thing. Based on the sun fade on the carpet, it might possibly be original and she's just been garage kept her whole life. But as far as the electronicals, I know that window works. It'll go up and down. I haven't tried the other side. Hey. Oh, looky there. And it looks like that back corner is hung up, like we need to get in there and make it all loose, but the motor does work. And this back corner is probably the same. Yeah, and it looks like this back corner doesn't go down. But you do have both of the most important windows. These go up and down, and the little vent guys open. And, oh, one more thing I never showed you guys. Oh yeah, also it starts like that. Now we're pretty sure this is the original drivetrain in the car. So with that being said, it might need a rebuild down the road. But I mean, for right now, fellers, she runs and charges and cools and everything is really smooth. And it's not knocking yet. So there could be a couple thousand more miles on that old motor before it needs a rebuild. There could even be 100,000 miles on it left on it, you know what I mean? But anyway, let me kick the idle down. And how did I recirculate? Turn the fan on. We have all 3 fan speeds. And this is the actuator for the rear vent. I don't know if that works, but I do hear the vacuum diaphragm moving behind me, so that's a good sign. But check this out. Oh, did you hear that? Yeah, we did. The AC compressor engaged on this, guys, fellers. And it actually does blow cold air. Maybe not the coldest, but it definitely works, and it would be something great to work off of. I haven't touched the AC system, so it just works. See the compressor spinning? It doesn't make any weird noises, and she seems to be spinning the thing in the refrigerants and making the air cool. Probably could stand a recharge at some point, just because we know this thing is sat for like 30 years. But I mean, the whole fuel department's gone through, the trans shifts through all the gears, and the motor runs smooth. The entire front end of the motor is brand new. Timing chain, water pump, power steering pump, alternator, every single spinny bit except the AC compressor is brand new up there. And you know all about going through the valve train and getting that back working, right? So we've done we've done a whole lot of this car. This is probably, I don't know if you would call this fully restored or partially restored, because I think short of going through rebuilding the engine and getting inside the trans, I think short of that, this is a complete restoration, fellers. Whole brake department replaced, every soft line, new brake, everything on all four corners. Oh, and she stops nice too. And then there's also yeah, sounds nice. The old 390 seems to have a lot of life left in it. And fellers, I know I do. Don't you want to be the guy that goes and picks up your old lady in this thing? Woo, you can even bring her friends. God, man, that would be cool. If I had the extra monies, I would buy this car for my buddy. However, the extra monies we do not have. We have bagel, that's what we have. But man, could you imagine taking your old lady out to dinner on this thing? I could, I did it once, it was great. It was the most awesome experience. Anyhow, let me shut her down, get all my wheels torqued down, and apply hubcappage and whatever those things are called. All right, well, that just classes the old rig up. We got 3 of the OG Thunderbird hubcaps, and one of them over there on this side. She's a Lincoln cap right there, so she don't quite match, but it looks a lot better than no hubcap. I'm missing the one on the front right now because it's in my my buddy's garage, but we'll have that one on it before someone picks it up if they want to come get it. I don't have the sprayer operational, but we do have working windshield wipers. Overall, she's a really sharp looking car and absolute minimal rust. There's a couple spots underneath where the floor pan has some rust on it, but that's all been sanded off and undercoated, so that should at least be really slowing that down. The only like blemish to the body, besides the typical somebody repainted this and you know, you might want to repaint it again one day, but for quite a while, the paint don't look bad. But I think the paint job wasn't the best, and we're getting like little chippy fellers here and there. Either that or somebody just stirred up a bunch of rocks and stuff one day. But yeah, she is a bona fide going to town rig. Not quite show car level, but I mean, fellers, if you wanted her to be, it certainly could. But anyway, that one body blemish over here, probably as a result of water leaking down in there over the years before somebody fixed up the trunk pan. There's that, I'm not even sure if that's metal or if that's Bondo or what is going on here, but that is like the only body issue, the only body rust and the only body like blemish issue. This car is ready to hit the highway and drive you to the grocery store and the soda pop parlor back and forth. She's got turn signals left and right side. Both the turn signal indicators on the fenders work, and all of my dash lights, all the lights that light up the speed numbers up there, the little speed bar, all those pods, the light for the word that says light is over there, the little trim light around the ignition switch, and the stereo backlight, and this guy up here, all that stuff lights up. And you got your fuzzy dice. Whoo, you need those. Man, they suit the ride. But yeah, I guess that about wraps up this here final Thunderbird update. Now I'll swap those 2 blown out light bulbs in the back and list her up on the Kijiji Marketplace and get endless amounts of the spam text for the next couple months. Why not? Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and email if you're interested in this, guys, in the description.